What's up, everyone? Welcome to your weekly tech update, the show that explores the newest, coolest, and craziest side of tech available on the interwebs. I'm your tech maniac, Ray McNeil. Coming up on the program today, we're talking the Oculus Quest, the first true VR game console. Got a spare $15,000? Well, that's what you're going to need for Samsung's first 8K television, and it's massive. And happening in this week's What The? A burglar's failed attempt to break into a restaurant ends with a brick to the head. That and a whole lot more coming up on your weekly tech update. Next. Oculus VR had one big hardware surprise to reveal at its annual Connect developer conference recently: the all-new standalone Quest virtual reality headset. The Quest is a culmination of Oculus's last 5 years of VR work, and Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg called it a major step towards getting 1 billion people into virtual reality. But the following day, Oculus Chief Technology Officer John Carmack, a video game industry legend who is responsible for creating shooter titles like Wolfenstein, Doom, and Quake, was more than straightforward. The Oculus Quest is a gaming console. Realistically, we're going to end up competing with the Nintendo Switch, he told a crowd. Where the Oculus Go headset is 80% media and 20% gaming, the Oculus Quest is gaming focused. In fact, it's arguably the first VR headset to offer the perks that have drawn people to products from Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Carmack argues that the Oculus Quest, like the Nintendo Switch, reiterates how, where, and to what extent you can enjoy games. Oculus isn't trying to replace its high-end Rift headset in the same way Nintendo isn't trying to replace your PC or Xbox, but it's building something that's portable and user-friendly while providing some of the same experiences you'll find on a higher-powered device. More generally, the Oculus Quest offers consumers a lot of the same benefits as a traditional game console: the plug-and-play nature, the cohesive software platform, and the built-in content library, all without additional costs beyond that of a television. The Sony PlayStation VR offers some of these benefits, but it's positioned as an accessory to a console, not a console in its own right. Of course, it's far too early to say whether the Quest will become a better-selling, more mainstream product for Oculus than the first-generation Rift, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. It will be difficult to run some of the better games on a mobile device, but they are going to find their happy medium, and it might be something that the public can live with. But the Quest is the first headset that offers nearly all the benefits of the Rift without any of the expensive requirements that have prohibited VR from catching on outside the enthusiasts and PC gaming crowds. It also takes the promise of mobile VR, the idea that you can take it anywhere and use it without restriction, and puts it into a much more capable device with full tracking and motion controllers. Although it will retail for $400, which is slightly more than your standard PlayStation or Switch, the Quest is still the very first time that the promise of VR in the way Oculus envisions it truly taking off will be available to a mass market. Whether this device or 1, 2, 3, or perhaps 4 versions down the line is the one that breaks through to the mainstream is somewhat beside the point. It's clear Oculus sees its future in cordless, self-contained headsets that operate like gaming consoles. Now it just needs to attract the biggest names in game development to make new titles and find that winning formula of affordability and performance that makes a VR headset a true competitor for people's time and money. This is awesome. In quick step with the Oculus Quest reveal recently, ILM X Lab have announced a Star Wars VR series starring the premium, vintage, old-school Darth Lord Vader himself. The adventure will be spread across 3 episodes due out in 2019. Seasoned film writer, producer, director David S. Goyer is writing and executive producing on the project. On StarWars.com, He says that players will be able to explore Darth Vader's castle and Mustafar. ILM X Lab also has been working in close collaboration with Ninja Theory of Hellblade and DMC fame. Maybe they're working on sharpening up the lightsaber combat shown at the very end of the trailer. We don't know at this point. It's all speculation, but it's all very exciting. We've been waiting for a VR Star Wars game that was worth its weight in gold for quite a while now. It's not clear how long or involved the episodes will be, or who you actually play as, but Goyer confirms that you will get loomed over by the Dark Lord at least once. It sounds like the episodes will be a mix of exploration, cinematics, and combat. On the official ILM X Lab site, it describes its mission to transition from storytelling to story living, using VR and AR to create premium story-based immersive entertainment experiences. Previous story-based immersive entertainment experiences include Trials on Tatooine, and of course there was the short dose of Star Wars that you got for Star Wars Battlefront on the PlayStation VR. That's pretty much been it thus far. I believe they put out a standalone VR kind of gaming thing as well. Didn't really become that popular because, as far as I heard, it wasn't that great. This is something that a lot of people are behind. They're putting a lot of money behind, and we are praying that it becomes that Star Wars VR experience that we've always dreamt of. I don't talk about printers too much on the show, mainly because I think printers are going out of style. Anybody that uses paper still is stuck in the Stone Ages, and we should all be digital at this point. But HP made me raise an eyebrow to the Tango X. It's a compact home printer, which is trying incredibly hard to be contemporary and relevant. It's actually pretty cool. No, it's not $19.99, but this is an inkjet printer to get a little bit excited about. Honestly, I swear, there are some caveats though, mainly that you have to be the kind of person that still needs to print stuff at home. There's not a lot of us left. If you're fine with using the office printer to pump out tax documents or your latest lease, then this printer probably means nothing to you. But for a lot of people, printing at home is still an occasional necessity, even if it's not something you have to do every day. Now, the Tango X, an attractive one-wire printer that can be shoved in a closet or hidden away in a cabinet when not in use, feels like an attractive alternative to printing personal junk on the office printer, or tracking down a Kinko's or an aging family member who still has their old inkjet. It's about the size of a few hardback novels, and thanks to a stiff cloth cover that doubles as a paper tray, it doesn't need a whole lot of space to do its job. When HP sat down to chat about the Tango X, company reps were eager to point out all the cool features meant to entice younger people. They pointed to the fact that you can print from anywhere as long as you have the app on your phone, and that it can be linked to an Alexa device, so you can, I guess, shout at it to print more. Okay? It was sort of like someone in HP marketing grabbed up a handful of millennial buzzwords and threw them at the wall. In practice, the printer performs pretty well, but really it's about how this thing looks. It actually looks attractive when it's all closed up and sitting in your office, as it will be doing about 90% of the time. The $200 Tango X comes with a cloth cover that doubles as a paper tray, and HP promises other trays, including a fetching cork one. In addition to how it looks, HP says the ink in the printer should last about 7 to 9 months before needing replacement, and that's pretty impressive. However, if you don't use the thing, that's still $40 every 7 to 9 months to replace the ink, on top of the $200 price tag, and on top of the $50 that you may spend to buy one of the cool looking covers. I'd say it's up to you whether or not it's worth your time and money. If you're one of the people in the world that do have to print at least a couple times a month, it might be nice to have a hidden printer somewhere on your bookshelf.